So welcome to your postnatal yoga class this morning, everybody. Let's hop over to the mat and we're going to start just in a nice, comfortable seated position. So grabbing a pillow and popping it underneath your bottom and just coming into a little easy pose just to take a minute to arrive and let go of the hustle and bustle of the morning or the day so far. Make sure you haven't crushed your ankles. We don't want to get pins and needles, so have one foot slightly further in front of the other. And then we're going to roll the shoulders up, back and down, just getting into those achy shoulders, maybe from feeding and sleeping positions. Just lovely big circles this morning. Rolling the shoulders up, taking them back, squeezing those shoulder blades together and dropping them down. Good. Now we're going to turn the hands upright and bring the first finger and thumb to lightly touch. So they're in that kind of okay symbol, but they're upright to give you a little bit of energy for today. And if you find your babies are with you, if they're nearby, you can have them on a pillow right in front of you, to the side. They could be in a little rocker chair, in their Moses basket, wherever they're going to be comfortable. If they're sleeping, brilliant, leave them sleeping so you can crack on with some practice hands free. But if you need to interact with them, please do so. So often what might be helpful is just a hand on their tummies. If they're on one side of you, just a little bit of contact while you do your quiet meditation, or they might well be lying across your legs, just in your lap on a pillow with your hands around them and just giving yourself a moment to take a second. So if your babies need you, you kind of have one eye on your baby and one eye on your practice, and you might be peering through your eyelashes, and that's all absolutely welcome. But if you're a bit more able to close your eyes and draw your focus inward for a moment and just see how you feel on the inside. Just start with the eyes closed to listen to all the sounds around you. Maybe hearing the sound of your own breath. Maybe there's a clock ticking nearby, or the sounds your babies are making. And then can you listen to the sounds outside? If you've got the window open, you can probably hear lots of birds singing at the moment. Maybe a bit of traffic in the distance. Depending on where you are, there might be building work going on right near you. And we're going to welcome all these different noises in. Everything's welcome. So just notice what you can hear in your space, outside of your space, including my voice, just listening intently and letting all these layers of sound just meet you. We're just noticing, like an observer, just noticing what is. And then notice if there's a difference, if the mind starts to judge. It loves to do this. So if the mind's jumped in and got critical, maybe it likes some noises or it doesn't like other noises. Or maybe there's other feelings going on today. Other feelings, other emotions, and then the mind gets chatty about those as well. Just notice what your mind does, and remember, everything is welcome. But kind of watch those thoughts of the mind. See it for the thinking that it's doing, that it's a kind of separate thing from the real you. You can even observe, oh, the mind is anxious, or the mind is impatient, or the mind is irritated. If those kinds of thoughts are bubbling around, just labeling them can be a great practice. And then taking a lovely big breath into your whole body and a big sigh out. And we're just going to breathe in through the nose if you haven't got a cold, sending that breath into your tummy, keeping it soft, expanding the tummy. And then a big sigh out of your mouth. Now, as we breathe out, there's kind of 3 different ways that we can do this, but we're going to start with kind of blowing out the candle breath. So I want you to imagine you've got a birthday cake in front of you with 100 candles. And as you exhale, you're blowing out the longest exhale you can through a little hole in the lips. And blowing and blowing and blowing that breath all the way out. And it might be that you're slightly leaning forward, leaning over your babies, giving them a little smile, but see if you can still do that breath, just blowing out the candle breath. And as you do that breath, once you start blowing, then start to pay attention to your pelvic floor. So those muscles between your legs, you're going to lightly kind of feel them engage as if you're trying not to break wind, you're trying not to have a wee, all at the same time at the front and the back. And then there's a kind of scooping into the center around the vagina walls. It might feel that those walls engage together a little bit. There's a squeeze. And then at the end of that work, there might feel like a little lift into the body. But we want to keep all that pelvic floor work super subtle. It's about 3 out of 10 in strength. So only 20 or 30% effort. So you're going to inhale into that soft belly. And then as you blow the breath out, blowing out the candles, just find the front and the back of the pelvic floor, kind of folding in and up into the center, almost like it's a plunger. And you're just lifting up the top of that plunger, zipping it up, gathering it in and up through almost the front of the spine. And as we gently lift the pelvic floor in and up, we're feeling the lower belly scooping in. So underneath the belly button, scooping in towards the spine. So see if you can find that 20-30% effort. And if you feel like you're not quite sure, go for 100% effort in the pelvic floor. Feel how much that work is when you just really go for the grip and the engagement in the tummy. And then think, okay, I really need to play that down quite a lot. And we're looking for super subtle, just with the breath. Really good. Now we're going to start with some warm-up. So just hands down onto the knees. You're going to stay with this breathing, blowing out the candle breath. And gently finding that response in the pelvic floor. Gently finding that light engagement up. That light sucking in of the lower belly. And just seeing how this feels through those hips and through the pelvis. Keeping tall and straight through the spine. Good, then we're going to pause and go the other way. Deep breath in, deep breath out. So just kind of seeing how you feel this morning as we move gently into the practice. Keep relaxing those thighs, keep growing tall through the crown of the head. So you've got this growing down into the ground and lifting up out of the crown of the head, opposite traction going on. And then as you come back to center, just swap those feet around. So we're just going to get into those hips and into those pelvises the other way. This time, hands up over the head. And we're going to circle the hands as if we're painting big circles on the ceiling. I know you guys all know this one. Great for digestion, great for heartburn. So lift the chest and still feel what you can feel in those hips as we circle. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades down towards each other. Pausing, we're going to go the other way. Now we're going to spread the toes a little bit wider. So activating the feet, and that is going to make your pelvic floor respond again. Feeling maybe that lower tummy drawing into the spine just from activating the feet. Take one more big blowing out the candle breath. And then coming back down, exhale, arms all the way down. Good, now we're going to roll those shoulders again, letting the head move. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then turning the hands facing forward, start to circle the arms. So we're spreading the toes, activating the belly and the core and the pelvic floor, and stretching out with all the fingers. Taking a big breath in as we circle and circle and circle. Keeping the arms quite strong. So find a bit of tension through the triceps, through the shoulders. And then as the hands are over the head, they're going to face each other. Circle a little bit more. Take another deep breath in. Lift up those ribs. Deep breath out. And then circle the other way. Spread the toes. So you've got that little bit of core response. pelvic floor, tummy lightly engaging as we breathe in and out. Really good. A little bit kind of more vigorous with those arms for the last 3, 2, and 1. And then some lovely big circles here. Good, squeezing those shoulders up to the ears and dropping them down. Okay, so now we're going to inhale, bring the arms up, reach out with the fingers and the toes, and then exhale, blow out the candle breath as the hands come down. Now the other breath that we can do, I've mentioned there's 3. So as you exhale, you've got making the S breath, which is like the phonic S sound. You make that as long as you can, and at the same time you're looking for that pelvic floor lifting in and up. So my hands are pressing together, my toes are spreading wide, so my hands and feet are active. And then S breath. Can you feel that lower bit of your belly and your pelvic floor gently engaging? Good. And then the third breath is more like a ha breath. So we're going to exhale, and from the back of the throat, ha. It's a bit noisy, a bit throaty. And you might find one of these breaths makes your pelvic floor respond best, or you might find that all 3 are easy and equal, but just pick the one that you want to work with. Blowing out the candles, S breath or ha breath, and you're going to stick with that for a good chunk of this practice. Good. One more exhale here. Great. And then just a couple of side bends, just leaning to the side and then sweeping yourself forward. So really big circles and just finding that little bit of movement, making that bit of space all down the side of the waist, just keeping it really gentle. We'll do one more on this side and then changing sides. Reach that arm as far over. Keep breathing. Every exhale is a chance to connect with the pelvic floor. So just find a little rhythm with your own breath. Good. Good, good. Now I'm going to undo the legs and take them out a little bit wide today. And just point the toes away from you. And then flex the toes towards you. We're going to sit up nice and tall. So pointing the toes away and then flexing the toes back. We'll do one more here. So I've got the hands interlaced facing away. This time I'm going to kick out through the heels. Almost lift the heels off the floor. So we're pressing the calves down, the toes are spread. And then inhale, lift up through the body. Exhale, do your breath and come over to the side. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale to center. Exhale. Good. So we're just working into the side body. We're blowing out, finding our pelvic floor, drawing the tummy in. Inhale to center. Exhale. We're going to do one more set. This side and this side. And gently bring those arms down. You're going to take one hand and reach it across to the opposite foot. Just take a little moment there as you reach out through the heels, relax your shoulders and try to lengthen the body. If you can't quite reach the foot, grabbing around the back of the shin is fine as well. So you're kind of going across the body and just really feeling into that lovely down through the back of the shoulder into the side of the waist. So if you can drop your head towards the knee and then coming back up, taking the opposite arm all the way out to the opposite side of the foot. So trying to get around the little toe side if you can, if not the outside of the ankle or the outside of that shin, and just feeling that through the back of the shoulder blade. So you've just got that little bit of kind of resistance through the shoulder blade into the back of the waist and breathing into that. Exhaling, lengthening forward and coming down millimeter by millimeter. Keep spreading your toes. Keep using your breathing on your exhale to find that little bit of core response. Little bit of pelvic floor lifting into the body, taking one more breath, and then coming back up. So with a little bit of movement, we're just going to come over one way as we exhale. Inhale to center, exhale the other way. So your arms are kind of doing this lovely sweeping around your body. Inhale to center, exhale down. Remembering every exhale, finding a little bit around the pelvic floor that's working, a little bit in that lower belly that's working. Good, so you can even look towards the hand that's behind you, just to get this movement all the way up through into the neck, making it really nice and smooth. And back to center. I'm going to take one elbow and just bring it almost down into the inner thigh by the knee. Turn the body and bring the other arm up and over. Don't have to go very far for this one. Think about length through the spine. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, settling in. And again, just feeling this side stretch down around the back of the ribs. Exhaling, settling into this. And finding a bit of core response at the same time, and then coming back out, dropping that arm down and bringing the other arm up and over. You're all doing really well, everybody. Well done. So turning the chest, looking up to the ceiling, reaching out with your fingers, reaching out with your heels, spreading your toes. Deep breath in, deep breath out. S breath or candle breath or ha breath. Take one more breath on this side. And come back down. Well done. Couple of lovely shoulder rolls here. We're going to bring the feet together. Last one, sitting on our bottoms. Feet together close into the bottom. I'm just going to rock from sitting bone to sitting bone. So this is great for just helping those heavy bones figure out where they need to be. Pull your heart forward, shoulders down and back. Tallest spine you can get. Keep relaxing those thighs. Coming into center, sit up really tall, activate the feet, so squeeze them in towards the body. Let the thighs feel a little stretch in those inner thighs as the knees draw down towards the floor, and then take one ear to the nearby shoulder. So getting a lovely little side stretch on the neck. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let the head go heavy. Maybe draw the chin down a millimeter or two until you feel that real sweet spot. And you're noticing that tension in the neck and the shoulders. And we're going to hang out there and take another breath or two. Not going to rush this bit, just settle in. Lovely size. Maybe dropping the head another couple of millimeter. Feeling into all those different bits that you can stretch and release. One more side here. And then gently bring your head back to the center. Slowly take the ear to the other shoulder. And the head feels really high compared to where it was on the other side. So it just takes a few breaths to release the tension, release through the connective tissue. So allow the head to feel heavy on a side. And then start to play around with just nodding the chin down, millimeter by millimeter. And just feeling that slightly different intention across the shoulders. So it's almost like I'm lifting my face up a bit and then rolling my face down to look at my shin and my knee. And with that, I just feel different places, tension, opening, releasing, and breathing into that. That's really important. Big sighs, no rush. You don't need to be anywhere else for this moment. Just release the neck, relax the shoulders, and then bring the head back up. Dropping the chin to the chest. Just take the head into little smiles, left and right. So looking over to one shoulder and then looking over to the other. So just keeping it really gentle. Good. And then hands under the knees. Let's bring the legs back together. And we're going to turn around into our lovely all fours. So just before we get into all fours, because there was so much tiredness in the group today from sleepless nights and feeding babies, we're going to come into a child's pose to start off with. So have your toes touching and your knees wide. And if you've got a blanket, a towel or a pillow, just wrap it across your thighs. Bring it close into your hips, right into the bones. kind of right into the lower belly. And then we're just going to gently fold our tummies up and over that pillow or that blanket. Now, because we've got the pillow in the way, it might mean you can't quite get your head to the floor. So if you can, great. But if not, just stack your hands and place your head on the back of the hands. I'm going to take a little pause here in our practice. And I want you just to breathe deeply into the belly, into a belly that feels really supported and snug and held. And then lovely big sighs out of the mouth. We're trying to send our bottom down onto the heels. If your knees are really, really wide, you might need to start bringing them in a little bit towards each other. You want to feel kind of contained across the tummy, a bit squishy. And then with the head down, you're just breathing in and out, as if you can breathe out of your forehead, just relaxing the head completely. And when you've been here for about half a minute or so, you might find that you release and can remove the hands and get your head onto the floor really comfortably. It won't feel like such a pull, because you're going to release some tension and can ease into that space. So if that becomes available to you, move into it, go deeper. And then for the next few breaths, I want you to breathe into the back of your body. So breathe into the sacrum and relax. Breathe into the back of the waist and the bra strap and relax. And then breathe up into those shoulder blades and relax. And then can you breathe even into the back of the neck and the back of the skull? And relax. And then finally breathing into the whole of the back, the skull, the mid-back, the sacrum, maybe even into the sitting bones. Big breath in, expand, and exhale, release and relax. And just take a moment there now where you're not doing anything at all, just resting, letting the breath come and go in its own natural rhythm. Softening through your body. So a little cool yoga-y trick. If we were going to stay here for 10 minutes, how would you make yourself comfortable? And as you think about that, your body just responds and little bits release that you didn't know you were holding. There'd be little moments of give here, there, and everywhere. So just allow that give to happen through the body, through the structure, and just feel that softness. Take a lovely big breath into your body, big sigh out. Good. And then very gently inhaling. We're going to come up into our all fours, moving the pillow out of the way. And as we find ourselves in all fours, let's just do a little bit of hand-arm strength. So spread the hands wide, shoulders down away from the ears. And because we're in all fours, what we don't want to have happen is having this belly kind of dip towards the ground, which will bring us into a little cat arch. So send the tailbone away from the head as if you're balancing a tray of drinks on your back. And start to use your blowing out the candle breath or your S breath with every exhale, just to find that little bit of core response. So pelvic floor drawing up, and this time the belly's lifting up away from the floor in towards the spine. Now we're going to take the shoulders and just lean them over the fingers a little bit. So we're in a kind of long all fours, and then rolling from hand to hand. Deep breath in, probably into the shoulders, and then blowing that breath out. Finding a little bit of core response through the belly, through the pelvic floor. Good. Come back to all fours, turn your hands out, maybe make them mat width apart, so your fingers are facing out to the side. And then the same movement again, just left and right. Just leaning one way and the other. As you get all the way across to one side, just pause and notice what has to be strong through the body to stay there. The belly will be engaging, maybe the side of the waist. Change it to the other side. Pause when you get there. Blowing out as you go. Inhale to center. Exhale across to the other side. Keep blowing the breath out. Feeling the core respond. Inhale to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale to center, last one. And come back to center. Now turn the hands back to the front. And then this time we're going to do a funny little kind of, it's almost like a press up, but it's just with your scapulars, it's just with your shoulder blades. So I'm going to keep everything still. And then I'm dropping my heart towards the floor and squeezing my shoulder blades together. The arms are straight. And then pressing my heart away from the floor, rounding my shoulder blades towards the ceiling. So keeping the arms straight is key. Drop the heart down, feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. And then press into the hands and roll the shoulder blades wide apart. You're just going to do that 2 or 3 times, just building up a little bit of strength in your back. Good. Really well done. And then tucking the toes under, let's just walk ourselves back into toe stand. So we're kneeling on the toes are under, and we just want to feel the feet strengthen for a moment. So spread the toes nice and wide. Just take a deep breath here. Good. Just take that little bit of weight. And if it's too much, you can always lean into the hands, but just taking a little bit of weight here. Feeling the legs starting to work maybe now up through the shins as you spread your toes really like crazy, as much as you can. Really lovely, you guys. We're coming back into all fours. Start to blow out that breath, engage through your core, and without wiggling your body from left to right, we're going to stay still. We're going to take the right arm and the left leg. Exhale, lengthen them away from you and lift them up so they're level with the shoulders and the hip, all in one line. Inhale at the top. Exhale, blow that breath away and slowly lower with control, and let both hand and knee land at exactly the same time. Press into that hand and knee, start to lift the left arm and the right leg. Exhale, lengthen. Keep lifting up so that they're shoulder and hip height. Inhale at the top. Exhale, slowly lower with control and land at the same time. So we're alternating one side and then the other. So we've got right arm, left leg, and then changing over. But can you do this move without wobbling your body left and right? To do that, you're going to really need to blow out with that candle breath or S breath and find that pelvic floor and scoop that belly in and up towards the belly button. So pubic bone to belly button's working about 3 out of 10 in strength. Maybe feeling the side body working. That's great, everybody. Keeping the ears level with the arms, the chin in slightly, maybe lifting just the back of the head up a bit so we're not dropping the head. And you're going to do 3 or 4 more of these, so just a couple more on each side. Make sure you even yourself out, so you finish on the side that you didn't start on. That's looking really good. So we're staying slow, stable, strong, leaning into the ground. Brilliant. And coming back. Really lovely, well done. Okay, so now we're going to take the right foot and just kind of keep the knee on the ground and just take the foot across to the outside edge of the mat. So the right foot just spins out to the side as much as you can. And then take your left foot and place it on the floor and start to roll your bottom under. So you're coming into this little side angle kind of pose. Spread your left toes and roll the outside edge of that back foot down onto the floor. And then we're going to lift your left arm up to the sky. So you have to press down into the hand on the ground. We're staying really strong. And then exhale, take that arm down and under. And then inhale, lift it back up. And this time we're going to open the chest. So take the arm back behind you. And then exhale, like a little dive. We're diving the hand down and under. Inhale, rolling back up, nice and slow. Take the hand behind you, maybe bend the elbow, feeling it across the pec and the shoulder. Exhale, diving down. Inhaling, coming back up. Pressing that outside edge of that foot into the floor. The back leg is strong. One more little dive. And then bringing the hand back to the floor, coming back to center. Take the left foot out to the side. right foot down behind you, rolling to the outside edge of that right foot. I'm now looking to the other side of the mat, inhaling, bringing my right arm up to the ceiling, and then exhaling, diving that hand down and under. So really moving slowly with control. Inhaling, coming back up, opening the arm back, exhaling. So let's press into the parts of the body that's on the ground, and let's move that arm really with control. So we're not just flapping it about. Maybe imagine you've got a big weight at the end of your hand. So that's going to help stabilize you. Exhale as you roll it down. Inhale as you roll back up. We're just going to take 2 more here, moving really slowly with precision. Good. And then this is going to be our last one. And then coming back to center, just take a few big circles with the bottom. Just bending those elbows and making this a really fluid movement. Just circling that bottom back. Little bend in the elbows. Then circling the other way. Inhale and exhale. Okay, so we're going to walk the hands back, tuck the toes under, and start to lift up the knees so we can place the feet on the floor. Take a breath here. Exhale, blow out your candle breath. Find your pelvic floor and your tummy, and slowly start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. So the knees are bent, the arms are hanging down, the head's hanging, and you're blowing out the breath, engaging and scooping the core and the belly as you slowly roll all the way up. So the last thing to come up is going to be the head. And when you get there, you're going to want to roll those shoulders, taking them up, back and down. And then we're going to drop the head down. So rolling down, one vertebrae at a time, bending those knees, letting the arms and the head dangle. When you need to inhale, just pause wherever you are. Exhale, start to blow that breath out. Find your pelvic floor, find your tummy, and then roll down a little bit more. Letting the arms hang, letting the head release. Coming down as low as you can, bending your knees, taking a big sigh. And then when you're ready, inhale here. Exhale, blow that breath, press into the feet. Keep the knees a little bit bent, the legs are still. Everything's heavy, we're unrolling, one vertebrae at a time. So really take your time. So again, we're moving with precision and control. And then roll the shoulders when you get to the top. And then your last one, rolling down. That's it, nice and slowly. Rolling all the way down. Keep an eye on you guys for this one. When you get all the way to the bottom this time, keep engaging your core and your belly. That's going to help support your back. Bend the knees as much as you need to and hold on to opposite elbows. And then just shift the weight, left foot, right foot. Left foot, right foot. Let your arms gently sway from side to side as you just let yourself dangle down over those legs, keeping the knees a little bit bent and gently just swaying like a huge elephant trunk, just swaying your body left and right. Take your weight into one foot and the other. Release the head, give it a little gentle wiggle. Release those shoulders and the neck. Big sigh out from the tailbone all the way along the spine as if it's a waterfall of breath coming out through the crown of the head. And then when you come back to center, we're going to roll up one more time. Taking your time when you get to the top, rolling your shoulders. Good. Now we're going to shake that out. And we're going to come to the top of our mat for just a little bit of strength. So we want to work on the glutes and the thighs to help support the core. So the feet are going to be at least hip distance apart. So my feet are as wide as these two bony hips. And I want you to imagine that you're on railroad tracks that are parallel and go all the way back. I'm going to make a little bend into the legs. I'm just going to take a big stride back with one foot. And then we're going to slowly bend and lower down into a little lunge, or all the way down into kneeling. And then inhaling, coming up, press your weight into the front leg and step up. Now we need to use our breath, we need to get our pelvic floor working. So inhale at the top, exhale, begin to breathe out, step back, inhale at the bottom, coming up and step forward. Good. Inhale at the top, exhale, step back. So we're going to break this move down. On your next exhale, dropping down slowly with control. So we're trying to make it a little bit harder. So the slower you go, the harder it is. When you go a bit faster, you're going to make this a bit easier. I'm going to show you this from the front. We're going to step back, drop down, press up, and step forward. Good. We'll do one more like this. And come up to the top. And then just roll the arms, just let them feel easy. So it's quite strengthening. If you need a little break, you're going to march it out. And we're going to do a second set of that. But if you don't want to do that and you need a break, as you march, you're going to bring the knee to the elbow. The knee to the elbow. The knee to the elbow. Okay, so that's your backup plan. Otherwise, you're going to step back again, come down, and when the knee touches the floor, take your arms away from you and just twist towards that long leg that's out in front of you. So as we twist, we're going to keep this whole lower half of the body quite still and just try and twist from the hips up. We're going to come back to center and we're going to press up and then step forward. Okay, so it's in segments. Inhale at the top, exhale, step back, inhale here, exhale, lower. So find your pelvic floor as you come down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, twist. Good. Inhale to center, exhale, press up. Inhale again, exhale, step forward. So hopefully you're feeling this nice and strong. We'll do one more set on each side. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, exhale. If you want to make it easier, bring the hands in. If you want to make it harder, have them away. Inhale, exhale, press up. Inhale, step up. So really use the front leg to step up rather than spring off the back. Okay, last time. Exhale, lower, really slowly for 3, for 2, for 1. Inhale, exhale. Feel that little compression around the waist. Inhale, exhale, slowly press into the legs. Inhale, lean into the front leg, step up. Well done. And then go ahead, fantastic ladies, and march that out. So with the hands on the hips, I'm just going to do a few lovely circles just to ease that out, just bending the knees as much as you need to. If you feel any twinges, anything feel a bit pulley, make your circles really small. If this is okay for you, you're going to start to drop the body. Dropping the body, keeping the legs fairly straight and just feeling all that lovely stretch down through the back of the legs, the hamstrings and the calves. That's it. Trying to almost send the hips forward at the top of the movement. So squeezing the bottom. There we go. Then pausing and taking it the other way. Now remember, any kind of twinges in the back especially, you're going to stay with knees bent and more little circles with the pelvis. Otherwise, really exploring this. So really nice to get into the sit bones and all the way down into the backs of the legs. This is probably going to be quite nice for Tatiana's sciatica as well. Just really noticing how far you can go with this one. Good. And then let's march that out. Really well done, you guys. That's looking fab. Okay, so let's take our time to come back down to the floor, keeping everything level. I'm going to just drop the head down, slowly bend the knees. Exhale as you round down, leaning on the thighs with the elbows. Then placing the hands carefully onto the floor, coming onto both knees. We're going to turn around and lie down onto our backs. Just adjust the camera position so you can see. Fantastic, really well done. So we're going to lie down on our backs. Let's grab the pillow so you've got a bit of support under the head. And then postnatally, if you've not done this class before, if you're new, what you don't want to do is just roll down, because it might just pull on your tummy and you might not be strong enough yet. So if you're new, you're going to roll onto your side and then roll onto your back. So that's an option that's available for anyone. And then as you've got the pillow under the head, try and squeeze it under the neck a bit. So you can give yourself a little double chin and just look down the body. Now let's just see if we can lengthen the body. So we'll roll the shoulder blades underneath towards each other. And then with the feet close into the bottom, again, keeping the knees and feet a good 6 to 8 inches wide. Start to just tilt the tailbone away from you. And then roll the tailbone up. So inhale as you tilt the tailbone away. So we're going to feel quite long through the body there. And then exhale, we're going to roll the tailbone up, pressing the lower back gently into the floor. And we're going to feel a little bit more scooped through the front of the body. And just explore that 2 or 3 more times. Inhaling as you lengthen the front of the body, lift the back of the waist up off the floor, send the tailbone into the ground. And then exhale as you scoop the tailbone up to the ceiling, dropping the belly down and into the floor, pressing the lower back vertebrae by vertebrae along the mat. We're going to keep going with this movement. If it's your first practice, you might want to just stay with this, just tilting one way, tilting the other, and just checking in that you can really feel your pelvic floor responding on your exhale, using the blowing out the candle breath or the S breath, and making sure you can feel that lower belly underneath the hands, maybe just gently drawing down and in towards the spine. So that's definitely enough for you ladies if this is your first practice since having a baby. If you've been coming for a few classes, coming for a month or so, then you can start to place your hands on the floor, and as the tailbone rolls up, keep going, pressing into the feet, sending the knees away from you, and rolling the bottom a few inches off the ground. So you feel that move up through the spine, and then you're resting more across the shoulders. We're going to breathe in at the top and exhale, slowly roll down. Again, just keeping your pelvic floor and your lower belly quietly engaged. We want it to just be quietly responding. And then with your own time, again, slow as you can. Exhale, rolling up. Inhaling when you get to the top, just pressing into those feet, pressing into the shoulders, looking down the body. You almost want to see a straight line from your armpits to your knees. And then when you're ready, on your next exhale, we slowly roll down. So we're trying to do all the kind of lifting movements, lifting up or lowering downs on the exhalation. So we know we've got our core working. And then if we're feeling comfortable at the top of the movement, we can hang out there as we inhale and maybe exhale, and just see if you can stay there for a little bit longer, maybe squeezing the bottom, lengthening the thighs, pressing into those feet, staying up for a few breaths, but keeping everything kind of working from the inside out. Almost imagine you've got a corset going around you that's gently engaging towards the center of your body. And then when you're ready, you just exhale and you slowly roll down in your own time. We're going to let the bottom really land here. And then let's take the feet together and let the knees gently drop out to the side and just have a little moment. Hands can rest on the tummy, chin down and in, shoulders relaxed down and back, maybe eyes closed. Just take a big breath into the tummy and a real sigh, just to let it go. We've worked quite hard in places in the class, so just take a little rest here. Another big, lovely, soft breath in. Into the tummy, maybe all the way down to the toes. And then a big sigh as you release and let it go. And then hands underneath the thighs. Let's bring the legs back into your little mountain brook position. So feet and knees hip distance apart, everything nice and even. And we're going to do like a foot slide. We're going to try and slide one foot away from us for the next exercise. So hands on the belly. We're going to blow before we go. So start with your exhalation, blowing out the candle breath or doing your S breath. Find that core response, pelvic floor and lower tummy. And then almost just lift your foot a millimetre off the floor and slowly glide it away from you along the mat. So just taking the leg all the way out, nice and long. We're going to hold it out at the end on the inhale, kind of hovering the leg half a millimetre off the floor. You can feel the floor, but there's no weight going down. And then on your next exhale, slowly glide the foot back in. And then place the foot on the ground. Take a breath into the belly to reset. Exhale, start to blow before you go. Engage through your core and very carefully, just a millimetre off the ground, slide your other foot away. Now it's easier if you've kind of got a slippery wooden floor nearby. You can go off mat on a diagonal, and having that kind of surface that you're working on makes this slide a bit of an easier movement. If you've got a really grippy mat, it can be a little bit harder, can feel a bit jagged. So just try to smooth it out as best you can. And when you get all the way back in, you're going to rest the foot, take a big inhale and exhale the other foot away, taking it all the way down to the floor. Feeling the floor under the leg, but not putting any weight into it. Inhale there, and then exhale, slowly draw that leg back in. Just gently drawing it in. Inhale when you get back to the top. Exhale, slowly glide the other foot away. So take your time. Try again not to let the rest of your body wobble, or that knee that's bent. Try not to let that wobble left and right. Really find that core, that tummy, and you can feel it under your hands. If your fingers are wide on that soft bit of your belly, you should start to be able to feel through the flesh and feel a little bit of tension coming into your transverse abs. And you're just going to keep going with this just for another set on, so one more time on each side. Moving really slowly, trying not to wobble. Exhaling the leg away, pausing for your inhale. So it can be a good chance here, when you pause for the inhale, to imagine you've got a pane of glass between your legs and you're just gently trying to squeeze both sides of your legs against that pane of glass. Then exhale, draw that leg back in. So just feeling into that imaginary center line, just squeezing those thighs, those knees, those feet, wherever they are in space, just in towards that center line. And you just feel that change the intention and the strengthening all around the middle and all around the core. So really good if you've had a cesarean, really good for anyone that's been pregnant, just to strengthen the pelvic floor, and really good if you've got separated tummy muscles. And when you get back after that last one, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together one more time and let the feet be together and the knees flop out. And just take a lovely little breath in and out here. A full breath into the belly, a proper sigh as you relax your hips. Good. Relaxing the thighs, allowing the head to feel a little bit heavier, relaxing the face and the jaw, take out any tension. Sometimes when we've been concentrating, the face is frowning, the teeth are locked. Can we release that as well? And then one more time, hands underneath the thighs, bring the feet back in. And this time we're going to just have a few little stretches. So we're going to bend one leg and see if we can lift it up towards the ceiling. We're going to take the hands and just wrap them around the thighs. So interlace the hands so the leg can rest into the hands, and then just circle the toes. Just circling those toes as if you're, again, writing on the ceiling. See if you can make sure your other leg doesn't wobble in and out, and start to encourage that top leg a little bit, maybe straighter up towards the sky, or even coming closer towards your face. So you're trying to lengthen the back of the leg as straight as you can, but don't worry if your knees are bent. That's absolutely fine if that's where you're at. Just go to your own edge. Let's circle those feet the other way. Keep pressing into the foot that's on the floor for a bit of stability, pressing into the backs of the shoulders and the head. And then just point and flex the toes. So toes towards your face, heel to the ceiling, and then toes towards the ceiling. And just see how that feels as you lift your heel to the sky and work into the back of that leg, getting a lovely little stretch. One more time. And then we're going to bend that knee, interlace the hands around the front of the knee, and just bring the knee into the armpit and just squeeze the front of the hip flexor and take a big breath into the tummy. Good. Really good. And then releasing that leg back down. We're going to bring the other leg in and up. So interlacing the hands behind the thighs, circles with the toes. Keep trying to lengthen that leg up to the ceiling. Maybe bringing the foot a bit closer towards your face, if you can get the leg a bit straighter. Keep resting into the back of the sacrum and the pelvis. Resting the face, resting the shoulders. Circles the other way. So notice maybe if your pelvic floor and your core is already just responding on and off, or on just with this movement, but we're not actively going to go and engage that now, but just notice if there's stuff happening. Then pointing and flexing. So really love the flex here, toes towards your face, kick the heel to the ceiling, and just really enjoy that stretch down the back of the leg. Point and flex, relax the shoulders down and back. See if you can feel quite broad across the collarbone, so we're nice and flat across the chest. Shoulders are sinking towards the floor. Good. And then let's bend the knee in and give that side a little hug in as well, a little squeeze around the front of the hips. Take a big breath in and a big breath out as you relax, and just draw that knee a little bit more in towards the armpit. Placing the foot on the floor, take your arms out to the sides in a nice wide stance. Roll the shoulders underneath you. Take the feet a little bit further away from you and maybe a smidge wider, and just roll on your feet left and right. So you're going to the outside edge and the inside edge and then swapping around. And as you do this, we're just going to kind of window wipe the legs from one side, maybe drawing them down towards the floor. They probably won't touch, that's fine. Back to center and rolling out the other way. And just as the knees go one way, let the head go the other, and just come into a really gentle twist through the back, through the belly. Keep your feet a bit active, so spread your toes so that they can take the weight of the legs. And we're not just hanging out anywhere, we're moving with control. And then see how this feels as you just really turn the head the opposite way and get up behind the shoulder blades. Now for the last couple, we're going to pause in our twist. So just take the knees across, hover the knees off the floor, press into the edges of your feet, look towards your opposite thumb, roll your shoulder blades down and breathe into the backs of those shoulder blades. So my legs are kind of working hard so they don't flop. I'm holding them up and then rolling to center, rolling all the way the other way. Finding that support through the leg, pressing into the feet, and then breathing into the shoulders. Big breath in, big sigh out, and then coming back to center. So we're going to come into Shavasana next. So you might want to be on your side. Just if your back's had enough, you might just want to be on your side, pillow between your legs. You might want to be on your side if your babies are with you and if they need a little feed or a cuddle. So just support your head with your arm and your pillow and be nice and straight through the body. Otherwise, if you're on your back, there's a couple of really lovely options you can do from home. If you've got a chair, a bed or a sofa nearby, see if you can pop your calves and your feet on them. So if you can just wiggle yourself in the room, don't worry if you go off screen, and just be comfortable. Make sure you've got a mat or a blanket under your back so you're comfortable, but just get your legs up. Just rest them over the chair, over the bed. And that's the most restorative pose that we can probably do. If you can't find access to something like that, you can take your pillow from your head or find an extra pillow and place it under your knees. Kind of roll it up a little bit to make a little bolster. So a couple of pillows would work really well here under the knees, kind of rolled or folded. And then I still think it's quite nice postnatally to have one under the head and the shoulders. If you find your chin's jutting up towards the ceiling, you definitely need a pillow or a support just under the head, maybe a blanket folded. You want to feel like you're giving yourself that little double chin again, and the back of the neck is really long, and the shoulder blades can fold underneath you, and your arms can be up, palm up, out to the sides, so we feel really open across the chest, and long and flat through the torso, so lower ribs coming down and in. Hips nice and wide, toes flopping out to the side. So this can be another position here. So finding your comfortable resting position. Might be that you're sitting and feeding, so you might want to sit back against a wall or the chair. That's absolutely fine. And wherever you are in your practice, we're going to try and close the eyes here. And once more, draw your awareness inwards. Take a big breath into the whole of your body, and as you sigh, let the whole of your body soften down into the ground that's supporting you. Relax the eyes and all the muscles around the eyes. And relax the jaw so the teeth are slightly apart. Relax the throat and allow the whole head to feel a little bit more heavy. And then as you scan down through your body, just noticing first of all sensations around the crown of the head, and then scanning, moving that awareness, that sensation down into the shoulders, all the way down the arms to the fingertips. Noticing how that sensation can feel calming and warm. Moving it down the torso, across the heart and the belly, down the spine, noticing the curves of the spine and into the pelvis. And as you go, you're taking that warm, calming sensation through the body and also noticing any other sensations arising potentially from your practice, from the movements. So now feeling the space across the hips, relaxing the pelvic floor completely. Letting the belly rise on your inhales. And remembering that that's also really important. We don't just want the pelvic floor and the lower belly to be in a spasm and be on all the time, hypertonic. That creates its own set of problems. So maybe just gently engage the core and the pelvic floor on your next exhale. And then really release it on the inhale so you know that it's soft. You know it's released. Relax your bum, relax the inner thighs, down into the knees and the shins and the calves. Let the legs feel really heavy into the heels, the feet, and all 10 toes. So just being aware of your whole body resting upon the ground. Softening layer by layer. Any tension that you notice, just letting it pour away. Maybe letting the head feel just a little bit more relaxed as you draw your attention to the skin that goes across your forehead. So whatever position you're in, just being aware of the whole of your body sitting quietly upon the ground. No need to do anything, no need to be anywhere, just seeing your body do this act of breathing, just observing the breath coming and going, barely softly rising and falling. Noticing any sensations around your body, any tingles into the space you take up. So this is where we get a chance to really recharge. We've moved into all different joints and muscles and connective tissue, and ligaments and cartilage and bones. Organs have had a squash and a squeeze. Everything's had extra blood flow to it. So now just scanning and feeling in and around your body, this sense of spaciousness, this sense of energized. Everything's been nourishedly moved. You just allow yourself to feel any of these tingly, lovely sensations as everything integrates, heals. And if you find you get really tired, maybe in the afternoon, you get that real slump, most of us, mid-afternoon, take a bit of legs up the wall pose, modified, so just over the chair. You can even lie on the sofa and whip your feet up over the back of the sofa, so you're super comfy. But do that for 10-15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes every day. And you get to that I'm knackered feeling, and it will really recharge you for the rest of the day. It's great for adrenal fatigue, running on empty, which is what most new mums do. So treat yourself to some nice warm baths a few times a week. Nice cups of tea in the garden, checking out the nature around you, the blue sky, the birds, and a bit of legs up the wall, back of the sofa pose, whenever you can. Filling yourself up so you have lots of bandwidth for looking after your babies. And when you're ready, ladies, if you are lying on your back, I'm going to suggest you just curl up onto your side, keeping the knees a little bit bent, keeping the eyes closed. So we're going to come out of Shavasana really gently, almost without disturbing our bodies at all. Take a little sigh there to relax. And notice once more the sounds around you. In the room, in your building, outside. Gently start to feel the touch of your body on the ground, maybe the air on your skin. As you take a big inhale in, just opening the eyes, taking stock of where you are and how you feel. It's a sense of almost just coming home back to ourselves. So just tuning in with that feeling in your heart, that peacefulness, presence. You feel very present, very grounded. And as you inhale and press your hands into the floor to come up to sitting, just take that feeling with you. So you can just come back to it for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week. Really excellent practice, you guys. You did great today. That was ace. So we'll bring our hands into prayer position. And to each other, we'll say namaste. Namaste, everybody.